guys, it's Khristina from Redefine Creation. I am here sharing my second layout with the Paper Person kit of the month. And so my friends Sara, Suzanna, and I are all playing with the December kit since the kits do ship at the end of the month. And so after this, we will be moving on to the January kit. And so for this particular page, I went ahead and I wanted to play with this marigold kind of deer quilted pattern paper. And I also want to use that mint kind of geometric. And so I went ahead and grabbed this pink stripe from my stash. And so I'm going to bring that in as well. And we're going to create kind of a triangular background. So this pink stripe is from Echo Park. And I'm going to go ahead and fold this one along the diagonal. So I'm going to have half of my background with this pink. And then I'm going to have a quarter of my background with that kind of greenish mint. And then I'm going to create a triangle at the bottom using that like busier kind of deer animal print. And so I'm going to be scrapbooking a photo from Thanksgiving, which worked really well with the particular like colors in this kit. So I'm going to go ahead and put my half sheet of pink down first, and then I'm going to go ahead and add that piece of the mint color, and that's going to leave me this bottom section. And so rather than trying to create the perfect triangle with this paper, which could be a little tricky because I want the pattern obviously to be facing up, I'm just going to go ahead and tuck the ends under and then trim off the bottom. So don't think if you want to make a layout like this that you have to make perfect triangles. You can definitely kind of use that hidden paper tucking to make it a little bit easier on yourself. So I have my 3 sections and they all meet up and I'm happy with how that looks. And so now I'm going to kind of go for what is the rest of my layout going to look like. And so I have this photo from Thanksgiving. And it's just some pumpkin pie on the counter and like the baking stuff is surrounding it in the background. And I'm going to go ahead and put that, of course, on white cardstock like I do with almost every single layout that I create. And then I'm just going to build up some layers behind it. So I'm wanting to use this particular layout to kind of tell our Thanksgiving, like how it was different this year. So obviously this year we weren't able to get together with family and do all of the kind of Thanksgiving traditional things that we usually do. And Thanksgiving is one of my kids' favorite holidays. They have always really loved Thanksgiving. And they of course love Nana's cooking, which they were really missing this year. And so we're going to talk about, on this particular layout, the journaling is going to talk about how we tried to find comfort in the small traditions of things like pumpkin pie that we could make here at home, even though we were missing family and our normal celebrations. So that's where I'm going to use that 3x4 card that says I hate having to cancel plans. And if you remember, on layout number 1, I used like the entire tag label set. So those sticker labels, I used all of them on layout number 1. So I had 2 little ones left, and I'm going to use those to put some of my journaling down at the bottom there. That's just going to say Thanksgiving 2020. But I'm going to come back with the labels. So don't fret. I still have a plan because you know how much I love those labels. My title itself is going to go right, like start at least, right on top of my photo. So I'm using these white letters to put in the word comfort. And I'm going to have kind of a long title. So I'm using the white ones for my major word. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the 2 sets that I have from the Paper Person kits. So one came in November and one came in December. And so it's going to end up saying finding comfort. So finding is going to be in the green. And then the pink I'm going to come back and put in tradition underneath. So the whole title will read Finding Comfort in Tradition. And so that's going to kind of mirror what I talk about in my journaling, which is often how I build a title. So if there are times when you are really stuck for a title, I often try to kind of mirror what I'm talking about in my journaling. If you are somebody that includes a lot of journaling, that's something I will try to do. Another thing that I really love to do is to use like quotes and song titles and those types of things in titles. And even just going online into like a scrapbooking group like on Facebook and saying, hey, this is what I'm scrapbooking. Can you give me some great titles? Because I am telling you guys, there are so many like talented, amazing, creative scrapbookers out there, and you will end up with like a million title options that you never would have thought of. And so I will do that often in my groups. I will go and ask like, hey, help me with a title. And I'm telling you guys, they come up with some of the coolest stuff. All right, so now I'm thinking about some of the little embellishments, and I have these like pale green and pink enamel dots. So I'm getting a few of those in there. I have that little doily I added up at the top just to kind of tone everything, make it a little bit more fancy. I do have that little November die cut from the November kit. So the thing I really love about both the November and December kits from Paper Person is that I could mix and match them really well. So bringing in my leftovers from November and adding them to December really kind of gave me a chance to use some of that stuff up, which I really love because if I don't do that, it will sit in my stash for a really long time. So I love that I could kind of combine my leftovers and figure out a way to do that with these two kits. Now, I don't know if that's going to work so much for the January kit, but we'll see. Okay, so remember me, I said these labels, I used them all. So now I'm going to use the negative space because I don't have any left, but I want that little detail. And you guys, I am in love with the look this created. So all I did was fussy cut kind of around where the labels would be. And then I tucked the little pieces into my layers. And oh my gosh, why have I not done this before, you guys? So I didn't fussy cut the whole things. I just kind of went around the outside edge and then I peeled it off because it's still a sticker, even though it's the outline of those label stickers. And I just love how that looks. So I am super excited to have played around and thought about a new technique to use some of my stuff that I still had because I just could not bear to get rid of that sheet because I just loved all those little labels. Okay, so back to the layout. We're adding a few more enamel dots, kind of building up where those embellishment clusters have ended up being. I'm going to add some of these little hearts. So I'm trying to stick pretty much with the pastel colors just so that everything kind of goes together. I don't want, obviously, these really bright colors, but a lot of times if you go through your supplies, there's colors that will work that may not like be what you would have pulled out first. Like this is a really bright collection, but if I pull out just the pale pink and pale blue, it really works. So then I went ahead and added my journaling on that card, and that is basically going to do it for this layout. So do make sure that you stop by and check out what Sara Scraps and Suzanna Lee have also created with their kits today. And I will be back to see you guys again really, really soon. Get creating. Have a great day, guys. Bye.